Hello guys, welcome to C++ Notes. Today's topic is about sorting. Now oftentimes you want to be able to sort your containers and no matter it's an array or a container like a vector of sorts of stuff, you can always use a sort function from C++, which is underneath the algorithm library. Okay. Now, what we can do here is let's start with an array of int. So int array. Let's give it like 5 elements equals 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 3, 0. Let's just give them this kind of order, so it's not going from small to big, it's like mixed together. Okay, so now let's sort it. Sort, and we want to tell it where to sort from. You see the arguments are the first and the last. Okay, so the first one will be the first one of our int array, but it actually requires a pointer. If you remember the name of the array without the bracket is actually the pointer of the first element, so that's the one. And then the last one will be int array plus 5. The reason we add 5 not 4 because that this sort will sort from this pointer, the object this pointer pointed in, the first one, to the pointer before the second argument you gave it. Okay, so that's why we added 5 instead of 4. Now if you go print the array out, let's do a for loop for int index equals 0, index smaller than 5, and then plus plus index. Okay, if we or cout it int array and then with the index. Okay, and maybe just that, and then let's just do a end line or this. Okay, so now if you after the sorting, which will sort the array, and let's see how it actually sorting it by running this this code, and you see what's happening is it's sorting it from the smallest to the biggest. Okay, so from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that when we were creating it, it's like all random numbers, so they're not from the smallest number to the biggest. But after sorting, we'll get a nice sorted a nice sorted order. Okay, so it's from 0 to 4. Now sometimes we don't want to sort from the smallest to the biggest, but we want to do the other direction, or all kinds of different directions. That way you will need to give it another function to tell it what to sort. Now there are multiple ways you can do that. The first thing you can do is actually define a function. It has to return a boolean, and then the function name could be anything. Way to sort. Okay, now you have to give it the two arguments. The argument type have to be the type of the item of the container you're gonna sort. So in our case it's int. So int left hand side, int right hand side. Okay, now we return. If we want to do the from the biggest to the smallest, we want to do left hand side is bigger than the right hand side. Okay, return this. Now you can actually just pass in ways to sort as one of the extra arguments to the sort. Okay. You don't need the brackets. You want to give it the function pointer of the function, which is the name of the function here. Now if you run the code again, you'll see it's going from the other way to 4 to 0. Because now we specifically tell the sorter that that's what we want. We want to sort it from big to small by using this function. Okay, you want to pass in a function pointer. Alternatively, before we do the more stuff, let's also try a different approach, which is the vector way. Okay. So let's say instead of doing a int array, we do a vector and a vector of strings. So let's do vector string. Okay, string vector equals. Okay, let's give it a bunch of stuff like you know, JT Adam Tova. Okay, now if we do then sort it, we can do sort and then we can sort the string vector. And the good thing about this is you can just put in begin. Okay, that's gonna give you the pointer of the first element, and then you can do sort again, end will give you the element after the pointer to the element after the last element of the vector. Okay, so now if you sort it, you see, oh, I have to print it. Okay, so let's print the vector. Oh, it'd be better to just have a function to do that. So void print vec. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's do a template. Tab name t, and then void print vector. Okay, vector is t tab vector to print. Okay, and then let's print it. So for every t reference Adam in vector to print, let's just see out it. Okay, and then eventually we just do it in the line or just backslash n. Oh. Alright, so we can now print the vector. It will print the vector from the first one to the last one. So print vector, we're gonna print the string vector we just did. Okay. Now if you do print it, you see now it's gonna be use the first use the letter order. So A, J, T. They are alphabetically from the beginning to the end. That's how it's sorted. Okay. In the sort. If you are sorting string. Now you can also just create a new function to give it a different way to sort. So let's do bool. Okay, way to sort. Okay, this time it's gonna take two strings. So string left hand side, string right hand side. Okay, now return. This time let's do the other way. Side is bigger than the right hand side. Okay, now this time you will see Tova as the last if we use way to sort as the third optional argument. Oh. See, Tova now is the first, and then me, and then Adam. Okay, so that is the ways to sort. And instead of using a function, you can also just put in a very simple lambda. So you just need to put in a capture list and then argument list, which will be string left hand side, string and right hand side. Okay, now you want to give it a return. Left hand side is bigger than right hand side. Okay, now this way what we're doing is we just put in a lambda instead of a actual have to define a function. Okay, so a lambda also is acceptable. Okay, so now if you run the code, you see the Tova is still the first. If you change the order from bigger to smaller and then run it again, you see Adam becomes the first. Okay, so that's another way you can do the sorting. So that's the basic of sorting in C++. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next time.